3, 2, 1, fire!
Summer in Space 2020 begins on Wednesday, May 27th at 4:33 p.m. That's when astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley are scheduled to launch on top of a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. They'll be in a Crew Dragon capsule heading to the International Space Station. It will be the first launch of humans to orbit from American soil since 2011. To get us ready for this major event, I called one of my best friends, Jennifer Hernandez, who works in the Public Affairs Office at the NASA Johnson Space Center. Part of Jen's job is working with astronauts like Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley.
They worked together for a very, very long time. You know, they were hugely a part of the space shuttle program. So when it comes down to being a pro, these guys, Bob and Doug, are that. And they have so much, combined experience that, it's no wonder that they were selected, for this, to help with not only the design and the input, working with SpaceX, but it's also just knowing what has worked and not worked and what's comfortable for astronauts and really leaving that legacy, for future spaceflight on this particular vehicle. And they're funny, they're pretty funny. And I love how committed they are to their families. Bob has a son who he's so excited to share this event with him, because when he last flew, he hadn't had his son yet. And so I think that that's really neat. And also what's unique about them is that their significant others are astronauts themselves.
This is astronaut Sam Gurmar, I think that's how you say his name, and he shuttle veteran. You could ask Allison, my wife, who took this picture. I was stumbling over my words. What's so impressive about these men and women who are here, the next generation of heroes coming up?
The most impressive is really their varied backgrounds. We have engineers, we have professors, we have military men and women, but also previous classes were teachers at one point. Some of them don't necessarily have what I guess maybe you and I would call a traditional, path towards becoming an astronaut. I like that some of them didn't know that being in the astronaut corps was part of their future, and then yet they are still here. And I think that's amazing. Because of the fact that we don't necessarily have to have a very linear path to get to do incredible things with, our personal and professional lives. And I think that's really neat about the current, the active astronauts that I've been able to work with.
I feel like we need this right now, Jen. It's been a hard 2020 so far. There's a lot going on. This is an event that could really bring people together.
We are very, very excited. I mean, think about it. You and I were in a situation where we're on the timeline with the space shuttle, but there's some individuals out there that are not. And to have this opportunity to bring back, human space flight, back to the United States, I think that is so exciting.
I wanted to show you the video from my buddy Mike Cabell, his son Julian. When I was talking with him, you mentioned a few times how inspiring it's been to see the younger generation get excited about this launch. So I asked him what gets him excited about space, and here is his response.
I really like the stars, that's what I think is interesting about it, there's stars. The thing that I think is interesting is that there's definitely life out there.
And I truly believe he's going to watch this launch, be inspired. He might be one of the ones who goes to help find this. Does this make you feel like this is why I do this, or this is pretty exciting?
Yeah, I actually just got some goosebumps here. Yes, I think, and I'll tell you why, because not only is that interest out there, right, and they like to share it with NASA. Like I said, I've gotten to see a lot of really neat videos and pictures submitted and fan mail to different astronauts. It's incredible, and a lot are from children. I mean, that's why I love NASA, Ken. I grew up in Texas. I'm a native Texan, and I remember field trips to, Space Center Houston, the Johnson Space Center. An interesting kind of story is that I think I was in 4th grade, and it came out on a field trip. I have a picture of myself on console in mission control with the headset and everything at 4th grade, and just remembering like how neat it would to be one of those individuals that are in mission control during the mission, you know, having those huge screens in front of you. And so fast forward to now, I'm actually doing some on-the-job training to commentate for future flight events. And, you know, I have another image of myself, you know, few odd years later where, you know, kind of in the same position. And I think and the reason why I tell that story is because of how inspired I was at a young age, you know, to be a part of NASA, to be a part of different programs, to have parents and friends that supported that, and to have a bunch of kids out there loving it just as much as I did when I was a kid and how much I do now. I mean, I can't wait for them to be a part of this, you know, maybe as a career or something like that. Plus, I also like that he was sporting his worm shirt, you know, he should submit that.
Yes, the NASA worm logo is back. In fact, it's on the Falcon 9 rocket being used for this launch, scheduled for May 27th. Show off your worm logo shirts or other items with the logo on it, and use the hashtag #TheWormIsBack, and NASA may just share your photos. Or share how you're getting ready for the first launch of humans to orbit from the United States since 2011 with the hashtag #LaunchAmerica, and again, NASA may share some of your stories. I'm going to share more of my interview with my friends Jen Hernandez and Julian Cabell soon, but for right now, for SSPTV News, I'm Ken Cara.